Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on May 12th, 2022. Seeing how today is International Nurses Day, and I think you would be hard pressed to find a group of harder working, more important individuals in this last 2 or 3 years. So, hats off to all the nurses out there. My own big sister, she's a nurse. She has been a nurse her whole life. Uh, Definitely kudos to big sister. I have friends who are nurses. Kudos to every and each one of you, saving lives, doing the meaningful things out there. This is a day when nurses are to be celebrated, and to do that, uh, we have, of course, to show a nurse action figure. Now, I will admit, this was a hard one. I was actually somewhat surprised going through my hundreds and hundreds of action figures, a lot of figures interviewed for this honor to be represented for this day, but I had a hard time finding anyone even close to being a nurse. It seems like there's a lot of soldiers, there's a lot of stormtroopers and Jedi and ninjas and samurai and superheroes and medieval knights and dragons and kings and queens and royalties and prince and princesses, uh, and, and, and anything in between. I even have quite a few doctors in my collection, but no nurses. Can you imagine that? Like, wow, I didn't even realize it until today how underrepresented the nurses have been in the action figure world. Now, there is one nurse action figure that come immediately to mind. Uh, it's nurse from the Silent Hill video game that actually had action figure made by Good Smiling Company. But number one, I don't have that action figure. I have not acquired her. And number two, she probably wouldn't be a very good representation of this momentous, very special day. In any case, I think when we talk about we want to honor the nurses by showing a nurse action figure, we do not want to see a scary, creepy nurse zombie action figure. Right? So even though the nurse from Silent Hill is related to this day, it wouldn't have been a good fit because it is a very scary and creepy and disturbing action figure. Uh, Not something that would be suitable. However, I was finally fortunate enough to find one figure, just one out of almost 1,000 action figure in my collection that could fit the bill perfectly, and we are going to bring in the Angel of Mercy herself. Her real name is Angela Ziegler, and she hails from the Overwatch video game. Now, I have never played Overwatch. It's not one of those games that would be even remotely possible for a blind person to play because it's a team shooter game. You got to be able to aim and shoot and move from position to position and work with teammates and stuff like that. So it's not a game that I am familiar with. However, I do have a good amount of Overwatch action figure because uh, honestly, I just like the premise of Overwatch. So, what is the premise of Overwatch? It's very simple, and yet it's one of those time-tested, ageless concept that almost everyone like. Okay, good versus evil. The world is overrun by terrorist groups and alien species and these robots. Just think of Terminator. Yeah. So Terminator style robots and terrorist groups and anything in between have been trying to take over the world. And there's nothing anyone can do about them. So finally, the United Nations decided to put together one task force, one special elite military group to deal with these uh, abnormal threats. These will be the best of the best in their field. They have the best super soldier, the best sniper. Everyone has their specialty. Everyone has their special armor and gadgets, and everyone on the team serves a definite purpose. And the whole team have one purpose. Wherever there's terrorist or robotic or alien threat, the Overwatch is there as a team to stop them. Now, the story of Overwatch gets a little bit more complicated as time goes by because they started to have some internal uh, conflict and leadership problem, and people started to leave the team, and they were not getting along with the governments of other nations and stuff like that. But at the base, Overwatch is a very simple concept that anyone can really get on board with. You have this super team of military special forces guy and gals. Each one have their specialties, and they work together to fight alien threats. Angela Ziegler, code name Mercy, is basically Overwatch, the team's chief medical scientist. But rather than just sit in a lab all day and develop medications and saving lives and stuff like that, which she kind of does that sometimes, but more often than not, you will find her on the front line with her ally. She does not really go into combat to kill people. Uh, her, like I said, her code name is Mercy, so her specialty is to heal people. Uh, she has this special suit of armor that's called the Valkyrie Armor that allow her to fly over the battlefield, spotting who is in need of healing, and she can use her gadget to either restore the health of her comrade or give them that little bit of boost so they can be stronger and faster for a limited time. So she's like one of those support character that it's very important on the campaign. I mean, anyone who's played role-playing games or team fighting games would know the healer is one of your strongest assets. If you have a good healer, you can do amazing things with your team. If your healer sucks, then your team won't get very far. So Angela Ziegler, aka Mercy, is the team healer for Overwatch. She is 37 years old, she's blonde, and she's from Switzerland. Um, Here we see her shown in her combat or her military outfit, which is called the Valkyrie suit. And Valkyrie suit, for those who can't see, make Mercy look like an angel, like seriously, halo and wings and everything. Now, even though I'm not religious, I really dig angelic action figures. Like, uh, well, okay, let's just say I dig action figures with wings. Almost anything with wings. That's almost an instant whoa for me. That's just like bump it to the top of the uh, cool list for me. So Mercy here definitely fulfills that. She's like it's like someone who take a medical doctor or nurse and put it in a technological angel suit. So her wings are these technological looking wings. They look like uh, wings maybe on a small airplane or drones, and there are yellow energies that flare out from the wings that makes them look like the feathers on the angel's wings. Her face is largely covered by a black, like a half mask, uh, uh, kind of thing. Uh, I don't know, like if she's trying to like cover her identity or what's going on, but she has like a half mask around her face, and you can see strands of her hair that fall down her forehead and in the front. But the most important and interesting feature is the halo on her head. Like she actually has a halo above her head. Now, what that halo actually is, it's part of her Valkyrie armor. The halo is actually a medical scanner that instantly broadcasts to her the vital statistic and medical history of whoever she's looking at, so she can make instantaneous decision on the battlefield. The rest of her outfit consists of a brown colored undersuit. So like that's a base layer of her combat suit. And then there's some white pieces on top of that. And then her, I believe her gloves and boots and her skirt are yellow and red. Overall, she definitely come across as an angelic depiction, and very successfully and very fitting because she is all about healing people on the battlefield. So a little bit about the character. When she's 14 years old, Angela Ziegler already is uh, excelling in the medical field. So she's like one of those super genius. She already had her own science project and was being interviewed by the highly uh, secretive organizations and military branches around the world. 14 years old, a military top brass were coming to her for her advice and in the field of nanotechnology and medical science and stuff like that. When she finally finished school, she got invited to join the ultra super alien fighting elite military force called Overwatch. However, Angela Ziegler, aka Mercy, has always had kind of a rocky, stormy position in Overwatch. Officially, she is the top medical scientist, top medical officer for the team. However, because she is a pacifist, she wants to save people. She doesn't want to kill people. So she is has always been very annoyed that a lot of her invention could be weaponized when fighting aliens and other terrorist groups, such as her one of her inventions was a biotic rifle, a sniper rifle that can be used to heal your teammate from distance away. But that rifle also was weaponized and used in combat. So things like that kept plaguing the good uh, doctor or nurse's conscience, and eventually she decided she wanted to take a more first-hand approach, so she started put on her Valkyrie armor, which allowed her to fly, and she joined her teammates in the field so she could actually get her hand on healing people. Eventually, the leadership struggle within Overwatch caused the team to fracture, and Angela Ziegler left the team, no longer using her name as Mercy. She went back to using her real name as Angela Ziegler. She traveled the world, went to South Korea, Venezuela, and Cairo, and worked in refugee camp where she could actually use her amazing medical skills to help treat the sick and the wounded refugees. And once in a while, when external threat threatened the people she uh, working with, she may put on her Valkyrie suit and try to defend people and evacuate people by flying them out of harm's way. But for the most part, Angela Ziegler, aka Mercy, even though sporting a very, very cool combat suit that has a pair of really cool looking wings, is a pure pacifist. Her whole mission is about healing and helping people. The action figure of Mercy was actually made in the Overwatch lines of action figure a couple of years ago by the action figure toy making giant Hasbro. Sadly, Hasbro has since abandoned the Overwatch line, so it is sad for those of us who collected Overwatch action figures. We end up with an incomplete collection. Uh, but what we got were pretty good. There were issues, minor issues here and there. One of which was sizing. Um, Hasbro really made a weird decision when it came to Overwatch action figures. Even though most of Hasbro's other action figures were said to be in the 6-inch scale, most of the other action figures uh, were taller than 6 inches. It seems like when they say 6 inch scale, they meant it have to be at least 6 inches tall. However, when it came to Overwatch, they strangely stuck to their gun. When they said 6 inches tall for Overwatch action figures, they seem to mean they can only be 6 inches tall. So that created a slight problem in that Overwatch action figures didn't blend in with other Hasbro action figures. They always look just a little bit small, even next to G.I. Joe's or Star Wars. And that's a bit of a shame. There were speculations that Hasbro did this because there were Japanese action figure companies such as uh, Bandai that were making other Overwatch action figures, and Hasbro was wanting their figures to fit in with the Japanese action figures. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care for a lot of the Japanese action figures, so I really wouldn't have given a damn. I wish my Overwatch guy would fit in with my G.I. Joe guys or Star Wars guys. That would be really cool. But anyway, no point crying over spilled milk. We got some Overwatch, and what we got were really good looking. And Mercy here was one of them. Actually, she came with another action figure in a two-pack, another super cool looking teammate of hers that I'm going to show you guys next week. But I'm not going to spoil it yet, unless you guys already know this toy line. Uh, so I'm just going to keep that a secret. But yes, next week we're going to look at Mercy's much more warlike, much more combative teammate, who's really, really cool looking in her own right. This week, let's focus on Mercy herself. Now, to facilitate her ability to fly, the action figure comes with a flight stand. For those of you who don't know what a flight stand is, it's an action figure stand that has a transparent, translucent arm that allows the action figure to sort of look like they're hovering off the ground, like this. I mean, it's not really like really high, so it looked more like she's hovering than actually flying. But hey, better than nothing, right? And because she was made by Hasbro, she is very well articulated. Now her wings kind of limit her posing a little bit because the wings fall off her back really easily. They are really kind of annoying. They're one of those little problems that I mentioned. And her skirt also tend to limit her leg movement a little bit. But other than that, her arms and shoulders and neck, they all move just fine. She can get into some interesting moves, even though she's just not really a very dynamic kind of character to begin with. Now, to help facilitate her ability to heal people, she also comes with a couple of little gadgets. First, she comes with this little kind of futuristic pistol-looking thingy called the Caduceus Blaster. I believe, even though it looked like a gun, it actually is a medical tool that if she shoots someone with she can inject them with uh, the like extra boost to their strength or and if some enemy get too close to her, she can shoot them with it and actually put them to sleep for a while, or make some of their armor glitch out and stuff like that. So it's a little defensive medical tool that looks like a gun, but it's not really a gun. Look, that's kind of cool. Kind of stay in line with her merciful personality. She also comes with this technological spear or staff looking thingy. This is called a Caduceus Staff, and this is the main gadget she uses to heal her teammate. Now, to make it look like she's actually using her power, she also comes with a large swirl of energy that you can plug onto the end of her staff, like she's activated her healing power. So just imagine that this really cool looking angelic character that just dropping out of the sky with her energy staff in one hand and her energy pistol in the other hand. And you think, wow, this character is going to kick butt. But no, she doesn't. She's just going here and try to help her friend and heal them. So, if there's one action figure in my collection that deserves to represent the International Nurses Day, there would be no one better, no one more deserving than the action figure of Angela Ziegler, aka Mercy, or the Angel of Mercy herself. Thank you for checking out today's Toy Thursday. And like I said, next week we'll come back and look at one of Mercy's teammate, who is almost the polar opposite of this Mercy, Angel of Mercy.